All right, so you guys actually murdered the like goal on the first Record of Ragnarok Marvel and DC tournament. That part one is almost at like 500 likes by the time I'm recording this. The like goal was 200, I believe. We're going to raise it to 300 now. Let's get it to 300 likes for the part three. But today, just to quickly go over, we will be going until one side reaches 3 points. The first side to reach 7 total points wins the entire tournament. So today, this episode will go until either the Marvel Humans or the DC Gods reaches 3 points. Today, we will do the battles, as well as explaining which Infinity Stone they will use along with their typical loadout and weaponry, and we'll get right into it. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Let's run up the subscriptions to 30,000. That's the new goal. And make sure to join my Discord. We do games, prizes, giveaways, D&Ds, and more. We're running a funny-ass game tonight called the Celebpocalypse. Make sure to join up and play. I give away free videos and scan servers when I do these games, so definitely check it out. But getting into this. First matchup that was rolled. The first battle to start off the Record of Ragnarok Marvel and DC crossover is Wolverine with the Time Stone versus Naran, the Hell Lord from DC Comics. Now, what's Wolverine capable of? Wolverine, typically in his loadout, is a mutant who has been around for literally over 100 years, has taken place in many wars, both on a normal and cosmic scale. He has served both as an invaluable member of the X-Men, X-Force, Avengers, Defenders, and more. On top of this, he is a master martial artist, combatant, and one of the best killers to ever exist in the multiverse. He also has his adamantium claws and skeleton, allowing him to take hits from the likes of Hulk and even cut characters like Hulk. This gives him extreme capability if he is capable of getting up close on characters. On top of this, he will be using the Time Stone. The reason I said he would choose the Time Stone is he can essentially make the timeline irrelevant, constantly go back and forth throughout the battle of that timeline, even hop timelines, grab his different versions of Wolverine and jump at Naran. And then on the other side, we have Naran. Naran is a Hell Lord, most associated with trying to affiliate as best as he possibly can with Hell. He is more of the trickster type. He will typically try to get characters to sell their souls in exchange for a favor, and he just keeps it, and that powers him. He is also one of the stronger Hell Lords in DC. He has fought Raven before, although he did lose. That Raven goes on to literally become Unkindness Raven. On top of this, he's taken on Spectre just fine from the 92 run. Scales to and above the Spirit of Destiny, and overall is quite capable as a threat to creation, as one of the more powerful Hell Lords in DC. Now, if these two were to clash, how does this go down? Wolverine, obviously, if he can get up close, and if he has the ability to, in terms of stats, he beat the shit out of Naran. I mean, Midnighter, when he got the Black Candle, was able to get essentially stats equalized for a bit, beat the fuck out of Naran. Naran's hands are not like that. He can get beat up. However, the issue this ultimately comes down to is Wolverine doesn't have the firepower here to win this matchup. Sure, he'd give Naran absolute hell. He would use the Time Stone to manipulate the battle, manipulate how it's initially going down, how it would work throughout the timeline, even potentially grabbing other versions of himself. But ultimately, it won't be enough. Naran will figure this out sooner rather than later. And in my opinion, in this first round, Naran and the DC Gods take the W. So first on the board, DC Gods. They are up 1-0. Now let's check out what the next battle will be. Alright, time to pick the next two battles. So let's start with Marvel Humans. I also obviously replaced Juggernaut with Hulk. Oh shit! Robbie Reyes has been selected. Let's see. Already have Naran, so we can't do that. Let me see if I can remove him. Hold on. Okay, I can. Alright, he's removed. Hi Father. Oh shit. Okay. So High Father versus Robbie Reyes. Now let's go back here. Let me remove Robbie Reyes. Hold on. And let me remove Wolverine. Because both of them have already been selected. Alright. So first was Robbie and Highfather. Cable! Okay. Now let's go to the DC side. Calabac. Big cow! Alright. So the first of these two battles is Robbie Reyes with the Soul Stone versus Highfather. Now, Robbie Reyes is a character who is unique among all the Ghost Riders because, unlike them, he is not the typical spirit of vengeance granted from the heavens or, depending how you interpret it, hell. Rather, he has the spirit of his uncle and it allows him to take it to these unparalleled, terrifying heights. He has battled against the likes of Weapon H, even completely disintegrating him completely. He has gone toe-to-toe with all the Ghost Riders before, including King of Hell Johnny Blaze, proving himself as the All-Rider, and actually defeating them in the race throughout the levels of Hell. He has taken on Celestials, even matched their raw power, taken on beings from Null, and has plenty of crazy scaling despite his rather young timeline in Marvel. He's one of the newer Ghost Riders in general, so hasn't had nearly as much time on panel, but with what he has done and with his soul hacks, erasure hacks, even completely erasing Weapon H, he's an absolute powerhouse, and he will be amped here by the Soul Stone, which can take you beyond Destiny, Fate, and even Death, and obviously magnifies his soul powers significantly. On the other side, though, he is facing the infamous Highfather. Now, Highfather, the leader of New Genesis, is almost like the New Gods version of Zeus. He is most famous for his blood-boiling feud. Now, who is he feuding with? Of course, Darkseid. Highfather and Darkseid have gone back and forth essentially since their inception, even at points having to come to deals or truces, exchanging suns for a time of peace. Highfather also has, besides just being a new god and having all the stats of a new god, he has a staff which allows him to access power from the source, and can be quite dangerous when he's obviously throwing it around. And overall, he is known historically for going toe-to-toe with Darkseid and is one of the strongest beings you will find in the Sphere of the Gods. Now, if Highfather was to go toe-to-toe with Robbie Reyes with the Soul Stone, how do I see this going down? Well, this is a lot different because Robbie Reyes is on a completely different playing field than Wolverine. Like that's a different story than what we were dealing with Wolverine. Here, Highfather's most dangerous asset, in my opinion, is his staff. But Robbie, if he can avoid it, which in my opinion he can, I think he should actually take this first Highfather. The All-Father is actually quite formidable in modern times, scaling at the bare minimum to and above modern-day Celestials. I feel like with his different hacks, his erasure abilities, his raw power as the All-Father, and being amped by the Soul Stone, Robbie Reyes has what it takes to take down Highfather. And with that matchup done, we see the humans evening up the score 1-1 against the DC gods. As Wolverine fell in the first round to Naran, Robbie Reyes defeats Highfather in the second round. Match 3 is obviously what we rolled earlier. Cable with the Power Stone versus Calabac. Now let's get into this. Cable is kind of like the chosen one among the mutants. He is from the future. A member of the illustrious Summers bloodline, obviously producing several memorable mutants throughout Marvel Comics. Cable is most known for his prowess as a telepath. In fact, in recent showings in comics, he was able to, in just less than 3 days, destroy a room designed to infinitely hold Professor X level telepaths. On top of this, Cable has low-level reality warping, superhuman stats, extreme weaponry. He's a futuristic soldier with literally endless years of experience in battle against both normal, cosmic, and even temporal threats. Given he is such a monstrous telepath, using the Power Stone, and given that telepaths can pull out from the Power Stone better than others, he would easily be able to exploit the best aspects of the Power Stone and simply amp all his stats across the board pretty significantly. On the other side, we have him going against the son of Darkseid, Kalibak. What is Kalibak best known for? It's pretty obvious. Swang and bang, baby. He's not exactly known for his strategic prowess. Kalibak has always been on the front lines as one of the leaders of Apocalypse. He is able to go toe-to-toe with and smash lanterns, go against several different members of the Justice League, scrap Superman, and overall be a menace to existence. As Kalibak exists as another super gremlin from Apocalypse, literally just there to be an asshole and cause trouble to everybody around him. Now, will Kalibak's genes, his genetics, his makeup as a literal god, his chaotic and brutish nature, is that enough to take down Kalibak or Cable with the Power Stone? In my opinion, no, it is not. Cable is more than capable of dispatching of this idiot. Kalibak is one of the dumber characters you could possibly go up against in this roster, and his swang and bang style is useless against Cable, who can easily just use his telepathic prowess and mental abilities to take out Kalibak pretty fast. Kalibak would get destroyed in this matchup, in my opinion. So, the humans go up on the board 2-1. We had them losing in the first round with Wolverine to Naran. We have them winning in the second round with Robbie Reyes versus Highfather. And now, Cable clutches against Kalibak. This brings the current score to 2-1. Let's look at what the next matchup will be. Alright, it's time to see what the fourth battle may be. Apocalypse is stepping into the arena. Let's see who he is going against. The Black Racer. Holy shit, that's a wild one. Now, this next matchup, as you could tell when I recorded the roll, it's pretty interesting. We have Apocalypse with the Mind Stone versus Black Racer. Now, what does Apocalypse bring to the table? Apocalypse, one of the prime mutants, one of the first to ever do it, one of the first to lace them up. He has essentially almost all the hacks you could have as a Marvel mutant: reality warping, shape-shifting, extreme telepath, easily able to take on Jean Grey, Professor X, those tier threats, can shake the astral plane, has celestial tech and can take on celestial level beings, has taken on and forced Nimrod to make several clones of himself, and we've seen one Nimrod literally put Juggernaut on the t-shirt. He's extremely intelligent as well, being one of the smartest beings to ever exist, even laughing at the High Evolutionary when they went toe-to-toe. Overall, Apocalypse is an extremely gifted mutant with a well-rounded skill set going up against Hulk, Thor, and other beings of that nature. On top of this, he has access to the Mind Stone, which will only significantly amp his already Professor X plus levels of telepathy, which should make him formidable against pretty much anyone as a telepath. But on the other side of the battle, he is facing someone of extreme power. He is facing the Black Racer. Now, who is the Black Racer? The Black Racer serves a unique role within the cosmos because he is the bringer of death to all things. This makes his position of power unique because he doesn't just bring death to the planet, the Earth, the humans, the multiverse. He even brings death to the gods. Even Darkseid and Orion typically fear his arrival, as just him arriving and his power from arriving was enough to literally knock out Darkseid. He is the death of all things, even the gods, and he is the one set to go toe-to-toe with Apocalypse. Now, if these two were to collide, could Apocalypse with the Mind Stone overcome the deliverer of death, the messenger of the end? I don't think so. While Apocalypse is extremely formidable, has insane stats, and is amped by the Mind Stone, which in my opinion can help him against a lot of the gods on the roster, Black Racer is an extreme example and extremely difficult to deal with. His ability to just like passively knock out even Darkseid by showing up is insane, and I think someone of his power level and his place in the cosmos, he'll simply just be beyond what Apocalypse is actually capable of and will end up defeating Apocalypse. So at this point, this brings the scoreboard to 2-2. In the first round, Wolverine lost to Neuron. We then had Robbie Reyes defeat Highfather. We then had Cable defeat Calabac. And now we see a loss for the humans as Apocalypse goes down to Black Racer, which makes this 2. We have one more battle to get into for this episode to finally get someone to the third point. Let's see what the battle is. All right, it is time for the final battle of episode 1. Oh my god. All right. Whew. Didn't know if Ben would come out that early. ShangChi has been selected. Okay, let's do the DC gods. Who will be facing ShangChi? Wow. Necron versus ShangChi. So the final battle of round 1 of the Record of Ragnarok for Marvel and DC. We have ourselves ShangChi with Power Stone versus the likes of Necron from DC Comics. So on ShangChi's side, he is a master martial artist, typically argued to be the best hand-to-hand combatant to exist in DC Comics. On top of this, Marvel Comics, and on top of this, he has access to insane weaponry. We saw in his recent runs, he was able to go toe-to-toe with Iron Man, even defeating him. He was able to take out Wolverine no problem, and even go toe-to-toe with King Thor, which shows how insane the weapons he has access to really are when he needs big guns. On top of this, he will be granted the Power Stone. This will allow him extreme stats and an insane magnitude of boost to all his powers and weapons and what he uses, so it should make him the most formidable out of all the stones. On the other side, we have Necron. Now, Necron is one of the newer gods on the list in terms of having the least amount of panels, but in terms of what he's capable of, he came in the game with an absolute heat symbol. He represents something beyond even death, and we actually saw in an encounter with the Spectre, he is beyond the hold of even the wrath of God. Like, he can't exact revenge on Necron because Necron's beyond soul, basically. He's not of the typical things that can be judged by God. This power over death, this power over heroes, and how he resurrected him makes him one of the most dangerous characters in all of DC Comics, and one that very few can take down. Now, if this being beyond souls, death, Necron, if he was to go toe-to-toe with ShangChi, with all his weapons and the Power Stone, how do I see this going down? Well, I'm a huge ShangChi fan. Dude has hands for days, can fucking fight with the best of them, absolute scrapper. He has the Power Stone in his typically OD weapons he now carries around. However, this won't be enough. Necron is too haxed, too versatile, and sadly, too far beyond what ShangChi can achieve, even with his amp of an Infinity Stone, in order for him to have a great chance in this fight. While he could make it interesting initially with the way he can fight with the Power Stone mixed with his weapons that can stop even Mjolnir and King Thor, eventually Necron's going to break through, and honestly, he just overwhelms and overpowers ShangChi. So that concludes the 5th battle of the episode, bringing the scoreboard to 3 points for DC Gods and 2 points for the Marvel Humans. DC Gods are currently leading 3-2 on the score. heading into the next round or the next episode of this Record of Ragnarok Marvel and DC crossover. Let me know what you guys think so far. What do you think of the battles? What do you think of who has won and who has lost so far? What do you think of the scoreboard? And most importantly, of the characters remaining. Like I said, I took out Juggernaut, replaced him with Hulk. Which matchups do you want to see out of the remaining? Which do you hope I roll? But anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. The first episode was an absolute hit. Hopefully this one is as well, and I'm looking forward to continuing the series. Anyways, it's been your boy Jobbers and Goons, and I'll see y'all later. Peace.